Hello once again, people. So, this time around we're going to be doing something a bit different. You see, I'm going to be checking out THRED, the level editor for Quake, if you will. And, this is actually the earliest level editor for Quake, preceding Quake kind of by a little bit of time. It was originally made for Raditz Beyond the Void, and it was basically converted by Jonathan Mavoa for a Quake. At least as far as I can figure. Maybe it wasn't for Raditz, but it was made by the same company right after it. And Jonathan Mavoa was the one who was responsible for it. But Jim Lowell then translated it and made it worthy to be used with Quake. And so that's kind of where we got the whole connection, the whole thing that we kind of ended up doing. And now we got to this point today. Anyway, this is THRED version 0.65b. It was made in 1996. And this is an early beta copy of THRED. This isn't even like the real full version. No. If you went on the internet, this was not the latest version at all. So yeah, we have an old version of THRED, even better. Anyway, no maps made with this version of THRED are to be distributed on a commercial basis. That is, they may be only available for free and cannot be used on commercial Quake servers. This version of THRED is not to be distributed except on the Aftershock CD-ROM. So yeah, basically, this version of THRED is to basically make your own custom maps, but you can't do anything else with it. Alright. There are many things unimplemented in Buggy, including some maps that spawn geometry to map files. I broke this and haven't fixed this yet. The texture mapped lit preview isn't done. Yeah, you can't actually see what textures you have on things. And then you have some issues with map files and actually trying to save stuff. Yeah, there's zillions of other things that are going on, but one of the other big ones is that, group rotation isn't done. There's a G button, but it's totally gray here. And also you can't call technical support over this product. If you pretty much mess up or do anything wrong, you're pretty much on your own here. Yeah. You're pretty much doomed is what they're telling you. Good luck! Oh boy. Oh boy, do we want to use a beta or not? That's basically our choices here. Let's choose to use this godforsaken beta and see what happens. Alright, let's load the thing up, and that way you actually can see something. I didn't want to do it on the last one because there was a little tiny window and all that. But now we are actually getting to the real thing. Okay, this is weird. I think this is what you want to see. Okay, there we are. You can now see THRED. THRED, everybody! Look at this! It's THRED! It's a square. It's an amazing square, people. This is THRED. Yeah. So, now what? What do you do? So let's see here, there must be like one of these that's a good readme or something like that. We have a lot of readmes in here. One of them is a license agreement that basically just tells us what we can and cannot do. Basically, a map made with THRED has to be made with THRED. It's illegal to charge for distribution of maps made with THRED, blah, blah, blah. Can't sell anything modified or made with THRED. Cannot play maps with THRED on commercial internet servers, blah, blah, blah. All this fun stuff. Yeah, pretty much, redundant stuff for what we just saw. So yeah, it's just a nice little contractual license agreement. Because you know how much that is. Okay, let's see here. More stuff saying that it's, a beta and that they're still working on it. Has a long list of bugs. We want you to be able to use THRED if you like, but we don't want any input on THRED right now. Please just use the software. We know you'll have some problems with THRED and we're sorry about that. We're working to fix THRED, but thought it would be the time to let everyone use it. I'll say this again, because there are some diehard please fix this people out there. Don't send us email! I don't care how small your request is, or how easy you think it'd be to fix one problem that's bothering you, or how cool the feature you'd be thinking of would be. Don't do it! Please! You will not get a response from me or John if you send email with bug lists or requested features. I promise. Okay, that's definitely promising. They're telling us don't ask for any bug features. We know there's bugs, don't tell us about them. Okay! This is promising. Lots of bugs, people. The THRED tutorial is included with THRED. I've spent many hours on this, and I know it's still pretty thin. It's all I have right now. If you have questions, feel free to post them at some Quake editing news group that nobody really visits anymore, and probably doesn't even exist. Like, this is some Usenet news group. Could I, like... I know, like, you can access some from Google Groups. Could I, like, actually access this one? I have to check this out, people. I'm gonna, like, quickly check in and see if I can, like, find this group on Google Groups or so. Ooh! I can! It does exist, people! Oh my god, it does exist! I can't believe this. This is actually... I mean, it's a lot of spam in here for some reason, but, let's see here. Frustrated with the lack of traffic coming to your site? No, I'm not. I'm trying to find out, you know, how to use THRED. Could you please just tell me how to use THRED, people? Okay, it doesn't actually seem like there was many popular posts. Like, I'm already back in 2001. I wonder definitely if I'll be able to, like, get to... Actually, you know what? There's a way to, like, navigate around by date. I forget how to do it, though. Spend a little bit of time. Let's see here. Yep, this is going to be a pretty slow one, where I look up a lot of things and we kind of move forward using that. So yeah, the way it basically works is before year, month, day. Okay. So let's see here. Before 1997 month, day. So 01 01. So it has to be before. Maybe I totally failed this. If I type in like after, will it work? If so, this is pretty interesting actually. After 1997 0101. Nothing! Well, this stinks. What have I done wrong? Let's see here. There must be something I'm doing wrong. Let's see here. I gotta figure this out, people. I'm like getting there. I mean, it's like before. No results found. Even like, you know, the examples I'm finding, it doesn't seem like before and after are working, people. This ain't promising at all. So yeah, dates aren't working. Also we need to get some classical music going in the background. If just to prevent, you know, that from happening again, because this is going to be a very silent episode. There's not going to, like, be anything going on, so we need something going. Let's see here. I do have a lot of music I can actually be playing in the background. A lot of random Doom music, but it's music nonetheless. And is all that custom P1 music of classical music all that we've checked out. See? I have stuff here. Let's see here. What do we have? Pull up this and go to classical Doom. There we are! You're welcome! Let's actually even, like, lower the volume of this. There we are, look at that! Now we can play and we can edit! Yeah, because this is such an amazing artwork that we have to have this playing in the background. Okay, we're back to trying to figure out how in God's name to get, before going. And yes, I know my mouse is moving all around. I want to keep it up so I can show you when I'm clicking and whatnot. Even though now it's kind of annoying because I'm looking at my browser and it's showing it. Let's see here. I'm totally confused. I need to know how to search a date range. And before and after aren't working. Does it work anymore? Oh dear God. I'm trying to find it, people. Okay, is it start underscore date? Wait, what? That's 2009. That doesn't help me. I need something from 2012. We're saying 2012. 2017 or 2016. I want something recent, people. I need something recent, not something from a long time ago. Okay, so this is getting really complicated. It doesn't really make any sense. Well, this is fun. Okay, so I have no freaking clue how to do this. This is promising. Thank you, Google. Thank you for changing this and breaking it totally for me. I know it was working, and now you broke it. Could I just have a way to search it? I'd approve that. You would think there'd be a button maybe or something? No. No. No, you of course couldn't do anything for me. Oh! Posted by a posted after. Hooray! This is amazing. Okay. We just had to come into this really cryptic area. What happens if I do it like a normal yearly format? See, now it's looking for author name. Wait, no, that's posted by. Oh. Whoopsie daisy, I'm looking in the wrong area. 1997, 01, 01. Okay, maybe we'll actually get somewhere now. Hooray! I did it! I figured it out! Oh my God, this is definitely a little bit different. Wait, why did it work before? Did I do the exact same thing? Except I used this Google search thing? I'm confused, people. It really sounds like it doesn't make sense why this worked, why it didn't work, and whatever you say. Whatever you say. Let's see here. Let's see here. More classical music! Classical music! All day! I'm gonna drive you guys crazy with the classical music. Because, yeah. Okay, well, where on earth does this use that group start? Okay, was it before 03? Wait, no. I want it to be before 1996. That would help a lot. Okay. This has been a long time use group is basically what they're saying. But was it before 1996? It was early 1996, so yeah, the first month. Okay! And the first post of this talks about John Romero being dead! Wait, what? Yeah, this is basically a forum talking about ID's latest and greatest. Yeah. So, yeah. This was at a time when someone took the name Quake. It was like, we don't know what people are going to be doing. Yeah, wow. This is old. But yeah, this is basically where you could go for thread information if you could dig through all this godforsaken stuff and figure out what exactly is going on. And good luck getting any new information here. Yeah. But at least we know the use that's around, if you want to check it out. I just told you kind of how to do it while doing it. Okay, maybe someone will there will help me. Do not ask me email asking for help at THRED. I won't answer it. All that stuff, have fun, blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank God we're past that. He also gives us a template. This is a very important thing because this is a template for how your README should look. You see, during the days of Doom P-Rods, if you noticed, we had a pretty unorganized thing. There wasn't many people, like, creating a nice way for us to figure out what exactly was going on with Doom. At least not in 1994. Early 94, there wasn't really, like, a nice, standardized way to, like, say what levels you were making. And so people kind of just threw whatever they wanted to say together. By this point, we pretty much have something that tells us, like, a bunch of different information with a nice standardized, way. Makes it a lot easier to figure out what the level's about. So it'll tell us, like, the file name, the author, tell us the description, all that fun little stuff. It'll also tell us, like, you know, what type of game modes it's playing for, what new stuff is included, if it'll have any demos, yeah, and basically it'll just tell us, you know, what editor it uses, what exactly it was made from, if it has any bugs and the build time for it. It tells us what type of textures was used for it, and that kind of translates out to kind of themes, somewhat. It does, but it doesn't. Really, themes is kind of like a weird thing that you really have to, like, understand by doing a bunch of stuff, and eventually you get it. But yeah, it's definitely, like, a really confusing thing, initially. Anyway. We have light time, viz time, all this different stuff for the times it took, the different amount of stuff that's in there, all this fun little stuff that could be useful for people interested in all the little tiny details of your Quake level. Hooray! We get lots of tiny little details! Okay, and now we get to the important part, the tutorial! Sorry about that. Okay, so the tutorial is a very long, lengthy thing made on September 23rd of 1996 by Jim Lowell. Alright, let's get ready for a really long and annoying thing. Okay, I need something going in the background. Something that will make it, like... yeah. I need to get, like, music going over and over. Here we are! Here's something! You're welcome! I'm a maniac. Okay! Okay! Welcome to THRED! THRED is a 3D editor that's been designed to create Quake maps! Who would have known that? THRED supports many advanced features to make your editing as easy as possible. I'm actually curious why THRED is missing an A. It's like thread, like... Yeah, it's a weird spelling for a thread. But yeah, it's just kind of like, THRED. He's dead. THRED. Even dead has an A in it. It's really weird though, it's just kind of cut off. You would think that's like some short acronym or something, but I'm not seeing anything. Yeah. THRED is written and owned by Jonathan Mavor, and the THRED webpage can be found at blah 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 is maintained by Jim Lowell. This tutorial is intended for people who are getting started with THRED. It's not the THRED manual, it does not cover all aspects of editing Quake with THRED. When you have done what you when you are done, you will have built a simple level and load it into Quake. I assume that you know something about Quake. You played it a lot, right? It also helps you know something about brushes and how they work together. But it's not necessary to use THRED. Okay, you should just basically save it all in one area. Blah, 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 blah. Mark Fontaine and Jasper Van Der Noot created the artwork for the THRED button bars. Okay, so this is basically, there's two different versions so far. On the 23rd was the first version, 0.5b, which was the first beta release copy to the public. But in 0.6b, which is the one we have, they fixed an entity save bug. Basically, it makes it actually possible to save stuff without having a major issue. Hooray! Thank God for that one. That would kind of stink. Yeah, so really, basically, this is kind of like the real first version that's anywhere near able to be used. Because that would be pretty much impossible to use. Hooray! So we have the earliest version of the level editor released to the public, which makes me wonder how exactly did these levels get made by other people who released on the internet. Like they pulled standalone levels. What did people use to make those? I figured they would have used THRED, but you couldn't have used THRED, because if you used THRED, that means THRED wasn't really commercially around, unless it was. Like 0.5. That's like only a little short period of time. Then again, actually, this was made in near the end of October, so you really had a month and a half to basically make a Doom level. It's basically what you're saying. Because this was released in very early November, so actually, say, release times and the fact that they probably closed up shop, you probably had about a month to make a Doom level. Doom level, Quake level. It had about a month. So it's so little different that this document applies to THRED 0.5b only. So yeah, he didn't even bother to change the documentation on it. It's that little of a fix. It was just, like I said, a minor fix to a very big issue. So, also we have some other stuff here. We have QBSP, which is the important thing to know about, because that's basically your compiler. It basically is the one that's included with this, so has been modified to support a larger number of brush faces. It's kind of like how exactly I don't know if Doom worked that way actually or not, but basically QBSP works as basically, if you don't use it, basically everything is drawn into a level at once. It's basically horrible optimization. Yeah, it basically just makes your level a lot more optimized. In fact, you might have recognized what I'm talking about if you saw Office Hell, which probably wasn't run through QBSP, and that was why it was so ridiculously laggy. If you remember that level, Office Hell from Dark Hour, you'll have seen it looked really horrible with the amount of lag. And yeah, that would explain it a lot. Because they didn't use QBSP, and they only used the level editor. So let's see. Maps generated with QBSP will run in Quake version 1.01 registered only. Yeah, this was written around the time when Quake 1.06 came out. So yeah, it makes sense that they're still talking about the stable version 1.01. Is I think 1.05a was maybe out. I forget my history dates right now. So yeah. You guys have the dates. I put them all up. But yeah, I'm terrible at remembering dates, so you guys have to try and reference this stuff and make sure I was actually saying the truth, because I sure in God's name don't know what I'm doing. I'm listening to Pop Goes the Weasel and trying to edit a level. This is gonna go well. You must run THRED in Windows 95 or Windows NT, and you must have a mouse. Yeah. So thankfully we're in Windows. Yeah, that's actually interesting to know. Most things involving Quake at the time were running DOS. I mean, the loader for Aftershock's in DOS, but THRED requires Windows. You realize the problem with this? Well, I guess, I think Windows, didn't like Windows 95 still have like connections to DOS or so? And like Windows NT definitely like actually no, I don't think Windows NT does. I think that's why we lost that later on, didn't we? Was it like Windows 95 and that route like the one that was connected more to DOS than like the Windows NT route, but Windows NT ended up overlapping it, and so that's kind of where we got our historical route. And so really it's like the last one that really was like the old route was like Windows ME. Hooray, what a terrible way to end that history. But let's see here. Note that Quake doesn't run under Windows NT, as I kind of just said. So it was really only practical to run THRED under Windows 95 at this time. So yeah, this basically is a nice thing to sell, Windows 95. Amazing. But yeah, this is going to be one of the very earliest pieces of software made for Windows 95, because you can't imagine too much being like released around this time for that. If you look at like most software being released, it mostly was being made for DOS still. Like Duke Nukem was, Quake was, a lot of the games, a lot of the stuff we were seeing was still being made for DOS in 96. So it's interesting to see THRED, the editor for Quake, being made in Windows. But okay, hooray, we actually get to use a Windows interface. I know I'm kind of saying how weird it is, but at the same time, it makes it a lot more convenient in today's environment. Because I'd be going absolutely out of my mind if I had to use a DOS-based Quake editor. I'd probably just give up and not even want to bother with it. Yeah, DOS is terrible. And trying to bother with DOS-based editors? Yeah. Okay, now we're getting to the actual stuff we care about. Which, basically, we're going to be talking about some Quake conventions, apparently. And yes, I am just reading a bunch of stuff off the README. But that's kind of, you know, what it's kind of expected. For people that really haven't bothered with THRED, don't really want to, you can sit back and watch what I do. See the stuff I stumble into. And whatever else the goddamn happens. This is for science. Let's see what happens, right? While Pop Goes the Weasel drives everyone crazy. Okay, let's see. Mostly in THRED takes place right in a window. Moving, scaling, rotating, and shearing can all be done in a THRED window. There is a lot more things that you could do with THRED windows, so it's important to understand how they work. There are 5 different views of your map in THRED. Solidgons, or solid render, which is what we're currently in right now. If you actually can't even see the top bar. But it basically tells us where it's solidgons. I don't know why it shows everything else but the menu bar. Yeah, it's not showing the menu bar or the top solid bar. Well, that's interesting to note. Pop goes the weasel. But yeah, this is solidgons for anyone who's interested. We also got wireframe. Which, this looks like wireframe, but then again, I did say that there wasn't any texture-based stuff in this yet. So hooray! We have no textures in our levels! This is gonna stink. We can't even see what textures we're putting on our surfaces. That's brilliant, right? I mean, you can't even tell what you're putting on surfaces right now. Front, side, and top. Which is basically your orthographical views versus your perspective. THRED is an MDI application, so you can have as many windows open as you like, with any combination of these views in any of the windows. Oh my god, we can use windows! Oh my god, people! We have windows! There's windows and they're everywhere! And we can have a bunch of different windows open at once! Oh my god, multitasking! Who would have guessed this? I mean, I can imagine the RAM would go through the roof. I mean, I don't think we'd be able to handle many more than one window, but... Well, thank you for this. Yeah. Actually, that's the thing. I can actually use my high-quality software, hardware and whatnot. Yep, the 4790K has gone towards rendering THRED level. Yeah! totally worth the investment, right? Yep. This is one of the most resource-demanding things we could have. THRED. In the solid render and wireframe views, the mouse can be used to move around and pan much the same way as you would move in Quake. I'm hoping you mean the mouse look. To walk around, hold the left mouse button and move the mouse. That's not how I move in Quake! Okay? But yeah, this is how you move around. Look at this. Look at this, people! We're moving inside and outside the cube! Oh my god, this is getting trippy. Yep, we've learned to pan the mouse. Yeah, look at that. It only took us half an hour to figure out how to pan the mouse. Okay, to look around, same as mouse look at Quake, hold the right mouse button to move. Yep, so that's how you rotate, this is how you move. Okay, that's actually pretty intuitive. And if we click both, I'm assuming we can like pan up and down. Yep, look at that. I have figured out how to basically navigate around. Yeah, it's a lot like 3D editing programs, which I've bothered with at times, so, by this point I pretty much know how to use it. Look at that. I can do stuff! Look at me! Give me a hand of applause. Okay, next. Let's see here. To strafe up, down, left, and right, hold both mouse buttons and move the mouse, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The middle button switches you between your current view and camera mode. Then back again. Very handy if you have a 3D mouse button. 3-button mouse. So yeah, by this time you better have a mouse wheel is basically what it's saying. You must be in camera mode for these to work. How does one switch to tool mode? I don't see this working, people. Like, I'm clicking, I'm using the mouse wheel, nothing's being recognized. Hooray! First issue! Well, second issue because we're in solid gods and we're not seeing any textures. So yeah, 2 bugs so far! Hooray! Gotta love this early beta, right? Okay, next. There is one other view that you can have in a Windows. In a Windows? Okay, you can see this was written up very fast. The texture map. This is done by selecting texture browser from the view menu. Okay. This shows all the textures in the current WAD. The use of WADs is explained later in the document. So yeah, you can pull up like the texture browser and you get to see all these textures! Look at that! Oh my god, look at that, we get to see textures! It's like all the different textures we used in Aftershock. Yeah, as you see, it includes some WADs from Aftershock stuff. So that's your little textures right now that you can use. Hope you like them. Okay, how do you get out of this? How do I get out of this? I'm concerned. I kind of get in this 3D view. Okay, we just close that. Hooray! I figured that one out! Okay. Next. We have a bunch of buttons. There are 2 button bars along the top of THRED. The top bar has 22 buttons. The bottom one has 19. All the buttons have hints on them so you can read when you pass the mouse over them. Amazing. Look at the hints, people. I've learned the hints. The hint is we're not going to learn anything today. Let's look at the save function. This is simple enough. It should tell us it can save, right? This is amazing. Amazing! So we don't even have tooltip hints, even though we were supposed to. Yep, amazing. I thought this was written for 0.5. Should it be, like, relevant? Should it be relevant? But no, we're not even getting tooltips. So if you're keeping track at home, people, we're up to 3 issues, and we have yet to really do anything involving actually editing the map. Amazing. Okay, so that's the detail. Let's see here. Their function should be obvious from that hint help, which we don't get. So we're pretty much doomed. Yeah. Good luck! There is a web page that explains most of the buttons in detail. It is at Jim Lowell's website. That's like visit.jimlowell.this.com. I'm assuming this is probably going to need to be viewed in archive.com, if even there. Like if we look, we get a place about IT solutions, so that doesn't help us in the slightest. Let us go to archive.org and see if we can even see it there. I'd like to be able to figure out what we're doing. I'd like to know what these buttons do. Jim Lowell. Okay, we've gotten it. Jim Lowell's map. Hooray, it's actually archived. So yeah, he gives, at least we have this. We get like a nice little definition of what all the different things are. We have to use these website pages that, you know, aren't exactly the best, but, you know. Yeah, so it tells us how to do all this different stuff. Yeah, she pretty much says, you know, I strongly suggest you use some editor besides THRED. That's basically what he's even saying at the end. Edit Quake will be easier than edit Doom ever was. Amazing. The monkey chased the weasel. Pop goes the weasel. Yeah, baby. Yeah! Stupid monkey. Stupid monkey. Why is there a monkey chasing a weasel? Can you please explain this to me? Anyway, back on subject. All of the actions that can be done with the button bar can also be done with the menus. A particular point is the Tools menu, which holds the BSP Manager option. The BSP Manager will be used a lot to redraw your map from time to time. With the Quick BSP button, this menu shouldn't get used very much, but it's still important to know where it is. Yeah, so if you go to like the View menu, which you guys can't even see, wait, no, it's not in View. It is in Tools, BSP Manager, even though you guys can't see it. Amazing, right? There's also a Quick BSP button. I mean, there's a group button that we can't use. It's grayed out. Other than that, I have no freaking clue where Quick BSP is. I'm assuming like maybe Viz. I don't think Viz is Quick BSP. Is it the giant red B button? That might do something. We could try and click it, see what happens. It might cause something to crash. Let's see here. Words. The BSP Manager gives you all the options for rebuilding the BSP preview in the solid render and wireframe windows. Another important menu is the Map Settings option under the File thread. From here you can select WAD and palette files to use with THRED. Amazing. Okay, next, the default brush. Of all the brushes in your map, one will always be the default brush. It'll be displayed in a blue wireframe brush with red nodes, which is what we're seeing for this cube here. So this is the default brush currently. This is the brush that will be modified when you move, skew, rotate, or etc. The default brush may or may not be a brush that is part of the world. The world is a term that means everything in the Quake map. Until you add a brush to the world, it doesn't really exist. It won't be visible in Quake when you build the map. Basically, the way this is working, this is basically a subtractive editor. Subtractive editors we used a lot in like the late 90s. They were like the big editors at the times before we moved to additive. Basically the mindset's like the exact opposite of each other. Subtractive basically is dividing parts from a solid world. What you're basically looking at right now, people, is a giant black void. It's not really like a void. It's like one giant solid block. Think one giant black solid block. Inside it, we have a cube, but this cube doesn't really exist at the moment. What it can be used, though, is to carve out a certain area. Think like carving a jack-o'-lantern or something to create a shape you want. And the way that jack-o'-lantern's carved, that area where, like, the mouth is part of a level! Yeah, it's basically the idea. You basically carve away what you want to get a level to function. So yeah, and then there's like other tools that allow you to like re-add like certain areas or so. But yeah, that's basically the basic idea, is that you carve away at a level to basically make your rooms. And that's where subtractive kind of comes from. So yeah, that's leveling in a nutshell. Because that is the exact opposite. You basically add things to an empty void and like build up rooms using like texture after texture. The difference between the two, subtractive is nice in the fact of the matter that it will allow you to create a room quickly. Like, say I made this room in front of us. We already have a basic cube. It's one brush, basically created in here that's like a certain width, a certain height, and we're able to create an entire room. It allows for very fast editing, and for flying through this, it creates some basic looking maps. So it kind of works good for these early corridor runner maps, like say like Doom or Quake style, whereby you'll have like a lot of detail on the walls, and whereby it's like more important to create like corridors. But it starts becoming bad when you start applying it to more detailed areas. When you start applying the things that will require like a lot of detailing. Because it starts becoming quite the pain to try and like subtract, then add them again, to try to like align them in the right way. It's just a funky mess. It's actually pretty horrible. And you can never really get 100% detailed the way you kind of want it. At least as far as I can see. Additive is a lot better if you want to like get in there and really get detailed. The problem is you need to make like every wall around the surface. If you don't have like a solid thing, it'll basically cause your map to not function. It'll pretty much will crash your map. At least the certain ones. Like I think like the Unity editor or whatnot can avoid that problem. But yeah, Unity's additive or whatnot, and that's basically the mindset. It basically is when you close something up. It basically do like a bunch of brushes around the surface. You basically have something that works, a room. And that's basically your first room. And then you can kind of detail it out a lot more because you define where things start and stop. Instead of having like subdivide it, like that's how you kind of do it. Like you'd subdivide like the main brush of this room. Then you'd have to like specify where it separates. And then you could like separate it into like two different sides. But it still would be a lot less control than just creating one little brush area in between the other two and saying this is a new texture. It's just a lot easier with additive. It's possible with subtractive, it just requires a lot more work. So yeah, it all depends on the level of detailing you want. If you want quick and fast, subtractive is your best way to do it. All you have to do is make this cube. Congratulations, you made a cube. But when you start getting like, I want to make like a very detailed map. I want to remake, the Sistine Chapel. Then you might want to go additive, because otherwise you're going to be ripping your hair out to try to recreate it. Because you'll be trying to detail everything, and that kind of becomes a headache. Trust me, trying to recreate like Doom or something like that using this type of stuff even becomes a headache. So yeah, it gets a lot easier in later renders. Well, it wouldn't say too easy. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's easier. Anyway, let's see here. We were talking about the default brushes, and if it may or may not even exist. If you move or change a brush that is part of the world, the changes won't be visible in the wireframe or solid render windows until you do a BSP rebuild. So yeah, think of basically what we're doing as being just basically placing like a landmark. It's think of it like basically where we're designating it to cut, but it doesn't actually cut until we do the BSP rebuild. Oh. So yeah, we kind of really needed to do a BSP rebuild, at least the THRED. But like I said, I could swear BSP in general, the reason why it exists like that is because of the idea that otherwise it messes with visibility. So maybe that's like part of it. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I haven't really bothered with this stuff too much. So Yeah, that's kind of why I'm sitting here reading a tutorial instead of just showing you guys how much of a master I am at THRED. um, if you move or change a brush as part of the... Oh, wait, I already read that one. This is easily done by clicking the button with a red B on it. Yes! I was right! B! B is my answer! Okay, so we know how to get to textures, we know how to build a level, and we know how to do the more complicated BSP options. Amazing. And we also know how to pin around our amazing cube. So guess what now, people? We have the ability to make a cube in Quake. Of course, I think we need spawn points, don't we? So yeah, anyway, now for how to actually build our map. Now we're getting to a lengthy area that's going to be basically telling us how to build our map. So yeah. Time for a massive freaking tutorial on how to do it. It only took 45 minutes. Okay, start THRED from scratch. You should have a view of the default brush and nothing else. Maximize THRED and select 4 views from the view menu. Okay. 4 views. Oh yeah, look at this, baby. Look at this. Orthographical views and a perspective view. Now we get into something. This is how to do it. This is how to do it, people. This is your hardcore view. The monkey chased the weasel. Let's pull these down. This is kind of cut down by that bottom bar. So now we have our nice 4-view layout, whereby it's kind of a lot like your basic level designer or something like that. This is basically like how every 3D level design software works. It's just the principles really change. And what exactly you're doing in each one is a bit different. So it's kind of the same, but really different. Yeah, it doesn't really help at all, does it? So yeah, we have our 4 views. Should have 4 videos with a solid render window at the top left. Make sure that camera mode is selected. This is the first button in the bottom toolbar. Oh. Okay. Yep, camera. Oh, now I got tooltips. How did that work? I didn't have tooltips before. Now I have tooltips, people. You can't see the tooltips, but I have freaking tooltips now. I don't know how this worked. Yeah, okay. Well, this is camera mode. Okay, so camera mode is selected. That's the one that's up there. You have a giant freaking eye. Yeah, so the eye mode is camera. Let's create a quick room. To do this, we need 6 walls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We also have to like calculate depth as well as height, and width. The easiest way to get that is to click the Q button. Q button? What is the Q button? And change some settings in the dialog that comes up. The Q button is the 8th on the right on the bottom button bar and has the hint of a cube. 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this one, right? I hope so. I lost my ability to use tooltips, people. Yeah, this is a big problem with THRED. I'm losing my ability to see tooltips half the time. Like, it really isn't helping. Oh, I think it's when I focus my view in the window is when it gives you tooltips. I see. That's the attributes dialog. Is that what you want? I thought it has a hint of cube. What? Am I missing something here? Let's see here. This is cube. Okay, we got it. We got it. Even though you guys can't see anything I'm doing. Well, this is a totally useless thing. You can't even see what I'm doing. I just created a nice little create bots window. So now I can create some bots. Okay, so I'm going to just enter in the different values for this, and we're going to play a blast through. But basically, the idea here is that I'm basically setting, like, a bunch of different little variables or something like that that basically causes the cube to become the shape we want it. So basically the way it works is that we have like an X size, a Y size, and a Z size. Um, and not only that, but we also have a top size of the cube and a bottom size of the cube. So that way if we wanted it to like shear inwards or outwards. So yeah, that's a nice little feature about THRED you don't really normally see. Normally it's like just specify X, Y, Z, but here there's a bottom and a top X and Z. As well as you can specify if it's going to be a solid brush or a hollow brush, and also the thickness. So yeah, because this is the first brush that we're using, and we're basically carving away from the world, it needs to be hollow. Otherwise, as I said, it would be totally useless. We're just going to have a solid inside a solid. And that's totally useless for Quake Guy. Okay, so let's see here. Top X size and Z size should be like 512. So we're going to keep it symmetrical on the two angles that matter. Basically, X is your bottom face, and Z is the depth face, the one going in this way. Y is height. So yeah, Y is really the only one that really is like for height. And that really is just whatever's kind of vertical with this. So this doesn't get ever changed. It's only one you could specify. It's a lot more limited than the other two. Okay, let's see here. So we got 512 by 512. Bottom bar should be 1024 by 1024. This will show kind of how it shears by like doubling at the bottom compared to the top. Now height has to be 256, so we have a little bit better of a height. If you haven't noticed, we're basically going by like units of whatchamacallit, 16. Like these are all like your 16 time units or something like that. It's kind of like all your different resolution sizes. That's kind of how you want to work in this. You basically, every like cube or so is like 64 or so, if you haven't noticed. So you want to go by like 64 units or so to kind of build up your way. So it'll be like 64, 128, 256, all that fun stuff. Makes sense, right? Hopefully it does. Probably doesn't. Oh well! Squadra! This is our cube now. Amazing, right? Pull out so you can see a bit better. But that's the cube we made. And you see how easy that was to make? Well, you guys could see half of what I actually did. But all you really had to do was pull up one dialogue box and change the top and the bottom, and this is pretty much what you get. So yeah, this is why I said like that deathmatch level or so, DMAS 12 or whatever it was pretty basic. It didn't even like do a shears or so, but shears are a very basic thing to do. In THRED at least. So yeah, look at this. So as you see, this is like a tapered square. So as you see, we can look at this amazing cube thing. We probably should also zoom into like the different cubes or so. Okay, like, how should zoom in? I don't care about the monkey chasing the weasel. Oh yeah, right click. Okay. See, that's the thing. The controls are a bit different each editor too. That doesn't ever help us. But yeah, look at that. There's our cube. We got this cube in multiple views. Look at this cube. This is an amazing cube. It is the Sistine Chapel. Look at that. This is our demonstration of the Sistine Chapel here. Yeah. This is all we ever need to make a Quake level. We just did the hardest Quake level we could ever make. Congratulations, we're done, right? Unless, of course, we're still working to actually make it. Like, we haven't actually done the BSP view, so yeah, it still doesn't even exist in the world. This is basically just a tool that's saying, congratulations, it's still doing stuff. Okay, so we want this brush to be the walls of our room. So let's add it to the world. To do this, we want to click the Add Brush button. This is the 10th from the left and has a big yellow cube with a plus on it, which is probably this, right? Yes. Okay, let's click this. Whoop, I clicked off it. And there we are! Hooray! We actually got a freaking default cube. Yep, now we have it filled in. There's our cube. Look at that. Look at that, people. We got a nice solid cube. That's amazing right there. Look at that. Look at that amazing looking cube. Monkey chased the weasel, and it is a freaking cube. Pop goes the weasel. Said something. You got a cube. Congratulations, there's a cube there. So yeah, look at that cube. So what really happened here is that when we add the brush to the world, this made the shade solid, and it also created a new default brush that is a duplicate of the brush we were just using, which is why there's the blue one as well. So yeah, basically it adds one to the world, but then duplicates one in the same spot, so we could create a duplicate if we wanted to. This is very handy if you're adding repetitive objects to areas, such as like stairs or bars or something. You can just move and edit the default brush now without changing the brush that you just added. So yeah, if you were wondering how like people with THRED created like default looking like areas or so, like duplicated looking stuff, this is how. Yeah, it's very easy to create duplicate stuff in THRED too, as you can see. It pretty much does the work for you. Now that the brush is created, you just drag it around, create a bunch of these. Then you switch to another brush style and you create that. Congratulations, you made your map. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward in that way. That's not really where the problems occur. The problems occur when you're actually trying to test out your map. That's actually one of the harder parts. And you'll be able to see some of the stuff I was talking about, like entering and all that fun stuff. We'll get to that, though. We'll get to that. For the time being, we have our cube. Amazing, right? Yeah, we got a cube. And we know how to make cubes. If we need to ever make a cube again to duplicate it a bunch of times, we have the ability to do such. Therefore, now we have the ability to do most of the things we need. Okay, so yeah. We also need to play the map at some point. If we were going to play a map, we're going to need to have a starting point, a place that the player will spawn. Yes, it's usually used in every, like, level designer thing. So we need to add an entity to our world, which is an entity editor. Well, an entity, but we need to pull up the entity editor for that, which is the 5th button from the right on the top toolbar. Yeah, see, this is probably one of the harder parts of THRED. It's just like counterintuitive with all these like tiny buttons everywhere. You'd really have to like figure out where things are and get used to this setup. That's like the cube button to create your cubes. That's the one to add things to your world. This is the thing that like draws the world out and like is a BSP button. This is your camera view. Main tool we have cared about so far. Mainly because we're just placing things in the default area and saying that's it. Where is the entity dialogue? Where is the entity? Monkey chased the weasel. Where is the entity thing? I want to put entities in the world. I'm confused by this whole entity thing. Let's see here. 5th button from the right on the top toolbar that looks like a light with a wrench over it. Entity dialogue. Oh! Here. Yeah, see, I'd be totally doomed if not for the tooltips. In this tutorial thing. Okay, so here's our entity editor, which you guys can't see again. Yeah, this is really amazing. You guys can't see half of what I'm doing, because it keeps popping up with new windows. And, of course, you guys can't see the new windows. And I could switch to show you guys the new windows, but you know what? I really should. I really should. 1 second, people. What I'm actually going to do is instead of this, I'm actually going to show you just my old desktop. That'll make it a lot easier. because this is looking horrible. You guys can actually see what I'm doing half the time. So I'm actually going to show you my full window. It really doesn't matter what you guys see or so I'll just show you my full window and call it a day. There we are. Now you get to see my thread window. Jesus Weasel. So let's pull up this. So that way I get my thread up. My thread tutorial, should I say. And, now you get to see what I was doing. Here's the cube sentence. This is basically what I was doing before when I put in the cube. As you see, you can do hollow or solid. And here's where you set the Y size, the height. Here's where I set the bottom of the taper. And here's where I set the smaller height of the taper. So yeah, that's really mostly what you missed. And do you even get to see tooltips? Yes, you do! You get to see even tooltips now. And it's amazing you guys get to actually see everything I should have been showing you before, but kind of didn't. Okay, so back to the entity and this thing. So yeah, I have no freaking clue what I'm doing here, so let's figure out what God's name this is. Let's see here. Okay, there's a button that should say new entity, apparently. Oh, okay, new entity, and we get this list. And we are looking for info player start. Yep, this one right here. So this is a very important entity because this is where the player will start. And there we are. Look at that. We got our class name, player start, blah, blah, blah. Yay! We could just kind of leave it where it is because it's which it could be kind of in the middle. And there we are. Look at that. There's the red X in the middle. That's where it is. Yep, that's the red cross. Basically, a cross appears on a map if you're far enough back from it. But entities appear as yellow crosses. And a red cross is the currently selected entity. Okay, so now time to actually get to the next step, which is trying to save this thing. And okay. Let's see how this thing works. We have this menu, so let's come up here and let's save it. Let's do it as mine, so it's easy enough to delete when we're done. Okay, and from here we should see save from the menu. It saved this map as test 1. There we are. We saved it. Okay, now we need to do export from Quake and export the map to a Quake map file. Okay. So this will basically make it as a map file. Down around the melody bush. Okay, so where are we? Just explored the map to Quake. Okay, that's good, right? So let's pop this off for a second, since we don't have to worry about it for a minute. And I'm actually going to try and figure out where exactly everything was kind of installed. So we have a 3DT and a map file saved. Is the 3DT being the thread file and the map file being the output file. Yeah. Now go to a DOSBots and change the directory that you have thread installed in. So yeah, now what we have to do is basically use another program called QBSP. QBSP is basically the thing that we were talking before, but the problem is it's needed in DOS. So you basically need to go to DOSBots, set it up as this, and then you need to switch it back to your Quake install in order to play Quake. If that sounds like a bit of a pain to do because DOSBots, yes, it is. Why couldn't this all be done in Windows? Okay, so let's pull this out for a second. Okay, I'm gonna try to get everything done here. Let's see here. Mount E as E my Quake directory. And in there's my THRED directory. There we are. That should do it. And then what? Then we want to do something. What are we doing? Then we want to run QBSP, right? So we want to do that. But of course, before that we could do that, we also have to go to E. So yeah, so mount E, QBSP, right? Is there anything else I'm missing here? Is there other details, or we just have to do that? Sounds like I'm actually going to need to do it in my main directory for THRED. So yeah, let's close out THRED. This part really is just kind of getting everything prepared to actually run Quake. But basically, I'm trying to get QBSP going. Let's see here. I think I've got it ready, hopefully. Yep, QBSP. Oh, I also needed to do it to my test1 file. Oopsie. Yeah, this is totally useless as it stands because I don't have the file I want. Which then you call it whatever file that you named it, which in this case was the default one of his of test1. So, alright, I got test1 ready to do. Okay, let's see here. I think that's about it. So let's put on display capture for a second. You guys get to see my pretty little desktop. Yes. You get to see all my awesome software. See DOSBots up here, conveniently in the corner. See how much of a Quake fan I am? Yeah. Look at this, Aftershock GMAS 13. And yeah, all my high quality editing software on the left hand side. Very convenient, clean, and streamlined, Anyway, let's actually get to DOSBots. Oh. Well, this stinks. This program cannot be run in DOS mode. Brilliant! Well, we just did all this work to get Quake running, and now we can't run in DOS mode. That's brilliant. Well, this was a total waste of my time. What next? What next, indeed, people? Let's see. Where else are we going? How else can we do this to get it working? Is there even a way to get working? I could have sworn I did it more than this before. Can I, like, edit the BAT file? That might do it. Okay, where's THRED? I need to edit my BAT file just to get a stupid... See, yeah, DOSBots is totally useless at this point. I might as well just, like, run the DOSBots config again. And this time around, just pull up Aftershock from this, because this ain't even working. This was totally a waste of my time. Wow. Okay, so let's pull this up. There we are. Save that. Okay, freaking thing. Let us actually get to trying to do QBSP, the application. So if I edit with Notepad++, we get a bunch of words that I do not understand at all. Yeah, and it's a Windows application. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It seems like we've hit in a kind of rock in the middle of the road. So yeah, it's not as easy as I was hoping. And we can't exactly follow the tutorial word for word to just play our freaking level. Nope. We're kind of now stuck. So yeah, no wonder I found it kind of a pain because, well, we can't even do that. Okay, well, luckily for us, after we do that, we just need to move the file to the id1 maps directory or whatever and start Quake from there we can create it, do that, blah, 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 and we can do it, blah, blah, blah. Words, install thread to the directory below. There are several batch files included with thread. Basically, each one does like a different step or so. Um, so basically, q.bat is basically qbsp. That basically is what that is. Q.bat is just as well qbsp. So we might as well run that. It has no lighting or visiting. Q1.bat is qbsp in light with no visiting. Q1e is qbsp in light with the extra options. No vision extra on light eliminates the visible blocks on light map. QV is QBSP in light and vis with the fast option. Very good for developing large maps. And Q final is QBSP light extra and vis level 4. You should always run your map through this before releasing it. So yeah, vising is probably what I'm talking about, whereby it's like that visibility thing. Visibility. So okay, so q.bat, a batch file. We should be able to actually edit this. Of course, this doesn't make any clarity to me whatsoever. Okay, back to dustbots. Has already this been shown to be kind of annoying to do in a modern Windows install? Yeah, it kind of is. Partly because I don't know what I'm doing, but also partly because this thing is a freaking pain. And yeah, in any type of modern editor-based thing, yeah, this is why, it's a terrible thing to use. And honestly, even the editor or thread basically blatantly says on his webpage, don't use thread since like 2000, since 1997. So yeah, we kind of like using an editor that pretty much people have said not to use for about 20 years now. Yeah. Ain't that amazing? So let's see here. Mount E as this. Gotta like go through the whole process again to get this thing. Yeah, that's the biggest part of the pain is that you gotta like keep changing your directories. It can't just be easy and simple, no. I'm surprised my headphones haven't died yet. Back to Pot Goes the Weasel. Penny for a needle. QBSP test 1. Can we do this? Please work, game. Alright, so we just got that done. Okay, now we want to actually load this thing up and it will actually work. No, it won't. It will actually tell me I can't run it in DOS mode. Oh wait, I ran QBSP. That would explain a lot. That would explain a lot, people. Okay, let's go back to my DOSBots. Switch the configuration around to, I think it's QT I want? Or is it just Q? It's Q I want. Okay, so instead of QBSP, we just want the letter Q. Q test 1. As you can see, this is kind of crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of different files and they each do their own things. Okay, look at this. Amazing. We've done it. We've done it, people. We copied it and worked it, and we copied it with successful termination. Before it said we couldn't be running DOS mode. And then it's invalid, the root doesn't have the parent, and then a bunch of errors. Yay! That was worth it. Well, hopefully that worked. I'm hoping that worked. I don't even know if it worked or not. That was kind of cryptic what just happened. It's like it said it worked and then it didn't work and stuff happened. Well, thank you very much, THRED, for telling me something happened and then something did happen. Okay, so what ended up happening was I got test1.bak, which doesn't help me in the slightest. Yeah! So if you can kind of see, we've got a backup file that won't help me in the slightest. I want a BSP file. Could I just, like, cheat and, like, change this to, like, test1.bsp? What would happen? I mean, I just converted the word. Would this work? Oh. So much of that! That gave me an error message. Yeah, that didn't work at all. I think we've learned the lesson today, people. We cannot run a BSP of Quake. Well, at least not in, this. No. Yeah, this kind of stinks. Like I said, we can't actually get it working, it seems. Mainly because it's not recognized as a DOS-based application. Yeah, and Windows doesn't want to run it either. Like, because it doesn't have any of the config specified to do it, and I don't know what I'm supposed to put in my BAT files to make it recognize that. It doesn't exactly seem like a normal thing. Wait, let's see here. Let's save this back. If I go into my QBSP, I don't even know. If I go here and what would I even do? Yeah, this is kind of crazy, but it doesn't seem like it wants to work. So yeah, people. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to do absolutely nothing, because we didn't even get to be able to play the level. So yeah. And if you close the program, it will give you an error message. Okay. So if you see here, here is my thing, my editor, if you will. And this is basically a basin. You can totally tell this is basing by the fact of the matter that there's a lot of red X's everywhere. Yep, this is DMAS01. This is solid polygons too. Um, has one like zoom out or so. We know. You drag and you zoom in and out. That's the edge up there probably. And well, we can't really see anything. I hope you guys appreciate this. We get to actually check out what the world looks like. It looks pretty terrible. You can't actually see anything in the world. Like, look at this. Look at this. This is what basically Basin looks like. But yet we can't actually see any of the textures or anything that's going on here. We just see a lot of the letter X. Well, this shows the way it stinks even more now, doesn't it? And then we close it out, we get an error message. Amazing. So yeah, in 2017, there was of course no reason to use THRED in the first place because there's so many better level editors to use. But even if you wanted to use THRED in 2017, basically what you'd have to do is basically create this. Then you'd probably have to load it up in like Quake Army Knife or some other modern editor. I'm not even sure if it's like compatible. It's like, can you like load up a map file? Oh, I think you can load up a map file, can't you? Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, this is pretty crazy, isn't it? All to get a freaking one-room map done. And we're making it to rocket science over here, people. Like I said, you could blame out the fact that I don't really have experience with this, but at the same time, I'm just trying to create a one-room map. I should be able to pull this off pretty simply. especially since I have a tutorial telling me how to blatantly do it. It's a pretty well written tutorial and would help us really a lot at the time, but it just in today's age, it really doesn't help me. 2048 by 1024 or so. Or is it 512? Yeah, I completely forget. I'm just gonna do this. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Just trying to make things somewhat similar to what we had before because I had deleted in a fit of rage. I had to brush the world entity editor. From here we can add a new entity that will be, yeah, I know you guys can't see this because really it doesn't matter because I'm just trying to pull it back quickly and see if we can get it working. If not, I'm just probably going to close up shop because there's really little we can do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it really takes like a few seconds to actually make the level. So we'll call it test. Then we'll export to Quake a test file. That'll give us a test.map. Now, if I pull this in, like say I open up Quake Army Knife, could I open this up in Quake Army Knife at least and see it? I mean, this isn't the 1996 solution at all, but it'd be nice to actually be able to see it in some way. I think actually I might have had to do this, people. Like I recall, you would think there's like an import map file or something. But yeah, it seems like it opens map files. So yeah, now all we do is go to our Quake install. This is going to be brilliant. This is absolutely freaking brilliant. Let's see here. We go to our THRED install, we pull up my test map, and from here we actually can see something. So, here's a more modern Quake editor. I don't know how to use this one either, but it basically shows us what we need, which is basically the stuff that we did before, all the polygons, all that stuff. So really, this is like how the end product would look. I just want to show you kind of how it's going to look in a second or so if we can actually like, BSP this thing. Of course, it doesn't help that QBSP is not seen in Quake Army Knife. And I can't load it because there's lack of compatibilities. Well, this stinks. So I don't have QSP working with, because I don't have THQBSP. Yeah, because this is a totally different editor or whatnot. But yeah, needless to say, we'd have like that one military base texture or so everywhere. And it basically is a weird cube. And that pretty much is it. And I have no freaking idea how to make this into a BSP file without like trying to install this other one, load it up through Quake Army Knife, and then do it that way. Needless to say, it is a freaking pain in the butt just to do this in 2017. Honestly, at this point, there's so many better ways to do it. Like, I'd probably just do it in Quake Army Knife to begin with. That really is the best way to do it. You really just pull into Quake Army Knife to begin with, edit up in there, and then you just use the modern BSP file to do it. Plus, then there's other editors out there too if you want to use them that are like a bit more intuitive. But Quake Army Knife is brilliant if you want like a really like high-end editor that tells you like a lot of details about the map you're doing. It's a great editor for just ripping apart your files and like getting all the like information in each BSP file. And that's the reason, therefore, that I kind of care about that one. But yeah, at the end of the day, people, I know this is kind of stinks because we didn't really do much of anything at all. But you know, we actually didn't like do much, and the reason we didn't do much is because, well, um, BS the BSP thing doesn't work right. Like, we can't load it up in DOSBots. That doesn't work. We can't load it up in Windows. And we're stuck in kind of like a weird in-betweener. You know what we should do? What about command? What about the command? Ooh, I just remembered we should use that. That's something that could be, right? Like, load up command. I completely forgot that was a thing. What am I thinking? What am I thinking here, people? Obviously, I'm not thinking. That's the problem. If we want to use command, and luckily for us, it's a lot easier to do in Windows 8 than it would be even in Windows 7. There's like, actually no, wasn't there like a way to like pull it up? There used to be in Windows like 8.0, but I'm not seeing it for Windows 8.1. There's a nice little button that said like command button, and I thought that was like one of the most convenient things. But now I'm not seeing it. This is interesting. You got rid of my command button. Darn you. Okay, let us go insane a bit more because now I have to like create the entire thing again. Okay, listen, Pop Goes the Weasel. And enjoy yourself because I'm gonna be here a while doing stuff that may or may not even work. And now you see why I said editing in THRED is a pain. Not because editing in THRED itself is a pain, but because just trying to get it to work in Quake becomes an absolute pain. Because you gotta go through this whole crazy procedure just to get it working. Okay, so let's see here. But that's... I think I want it to be... What did I even want it to be? I think I want 512 by 1024. Wait, but with 256 as the height and make it hollow. Oh, that'll get that. Then I want to add to the world, and then I want to add a. At least I'm willing to do this, like, you know, very easily. So remember what I need to be doing. I mean, this is like second nature to me at this point because we've already done it like 3 times. So yeah, by this time I've already created a whole new map and basically done everything that took us like 45 minutes before. We just, you know, haven't gotten it working at all. But, yep, okay. Now we have that. So now what I want to do is open up my command.exe file. We're going to try and go there. So let's see here. See. How do you like pull out to like your main directory again? I know like CD is to like change directory, but how do you like get to your default directory? Yeah, you can tell I definitely am not really used to this stuff. So yeah, CD is to change directory or so. Yeah, you should just be able to type the letter of your drive and it should work. But that seems to be just recognized as my System32 directory. Let's see here. How to get to main C directory of CMD. I mean, this should be simple enough. Oh, CD takes you to the top of directory tree. CD slash. Okay, so CD slash. CD, okay. And now I can say where I want to go. Okay, let's see. So we want to go to... There we are. Now I'm figuring out how to get around, people. I'm figuring out how to do this so we can actually get there. And don't worry too much about what I'm doing. I'm just trying to see if it'll work. Actually, you know what? You guys should see this. This is what I've done so far. Okay, so now we want, we're at C. We want to go to C. Where am I going again? Wait, no, I don't want to go to C. I want to go to Quake Mess. Aftershock. THRED. Oh, I need CD. Quake Mess. Aftershock. THRED. Okay, we're finally here. Now, QBSP test. Okay, look at this. Look at this, people. This is what I wanted. We've gotten progress. So as you see, this is what we really want. We want to like load up this file, or load up all this brilliant stuff. And ta-da! There we are. Only took us an hour and 30 minutes just to get here. But we did it. We have gotten QBSP to work. You just have to use the command.exe and redirect there. And of course, I haven't really bothered with that normally. So of course that makes it a lot more of a pain. But we got our BSP file, which I'll move over to my main Aftershock area. Okay, if I just put it in here, I think I'll be able to load it up. So, I'm gonna at this time play Quake and see what happens. Okay, let's load up my Quake. My Glen sheet, as you can see. We're going to try test. What am I doing? Map test. Yes! Yes! But as you can see, there's the level right there. The level name. Entering THRED level. Well, I have no idea why this is not working. Runaway loop error. Host error. Program error. Yes! Hooray, I got a bunch of errors. Amazing. Amazing, people. But there. We got entering THRED level. You wanted entering THRED level? Congratulations, we got it. Now the question is, what exactly am I doing? Yeah. Monkey chases a weasel. But yeah, at least we got the level working. Now we can see the word entering THRED level. Which, as I said, was kind of important. Just because the fact of the matter, that's where the entering comes from. That's right there, your default level. Entering THRED level. Now, there must be a way to, like, change your name of your level and make it not. But that's how you get your entering in the name to begin with. So yeah, right now it's called the default of entering THRED level, which of course is what exactly would be the default name, and therefore why exactly like so many Q2 levels had it, while like entering Jun level had it. Why you see it in different places? Because it's the default in THRED, which is never a good sign. So let's see here. We gotta like figure out how to like get THRED to actually. Now what I don't get is why the QC is not recognizing it. Which is, of course, a Quake code. Let's see here. It almost sounds like it's a corrupted map. But I don't get this. I made it. I made it with THRED. I made it. I put all this effort into it. I ripped my heart out for this. Pop goes the weasel. Yeah, but now we have entering THRED level. Yeah. Amazing, right? I'm loving this. I'm loving the fact that we have this and that it's not working at all. So let's see here. Let's go back to my thread. Pop goes the weasel. Whereby we can navigate around somehow. Why isn't this working? Is it just because it doesn't recognize the textures? I'm confused. I thought we were supposed to be able to test this bloody thing out. And it doesn't work. Yay! I love how, like, we have BSP working, but it's not working. Yeah. I mean, we haven't even got it working yet, people. Pop goes the weasel. What if we... I don't even know. This is really getting to be a point, pain in the butt at the point. Wait a minute, what? Where did my Aftershock level go? I don't even know where it went. Now it's totally missing from my install. Oh no, it's in here. A totally different area. As you see, it recognizes it in Quake, but it just gives me an error message. Okay, I don't know how to get past this error message. Yay! So what is this about? If not, 4100 branch, 23 client QC, put select spawn point, put client server, no function. Like, is there more, like, required than what was done? I don't know what happened there. Let's see here. Quake, if not, 4100. But now you can see the fun with this. It's an absolute pain in the butt. Oh! Oh, we're trying to play in deathmatch. And because we don't have it working in deathmatch mode, this is why it's not working. Yeah, it's that stupidly simple, people. We need to get it working with single player. Now it makes sense. That's right. We're in deathmatch currently. Okay, let's go back. Let's kill these. Instead, just make it our default install of like Aftershock or so without those two lines. So here we are. Yay. Test. Yes! 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 Entering THRED level! Look at this, baby! It took a lot of time, a lot of painful effort, using the CMD line, all that, but we finally got it. We got one of the most terrible looking levels of all time. Look at this. Look at this. I feel dizzy. Like, look at the strobe lighting effect of this thing. But yeah, we got THRED level working. We got a level up. It just took us about an hour and a half just to get to this point. But at least now we know what to do. See, that's the thing. I haven't played with it in a very long time, so I'm trying to like relearn exactly where to do things, how to get things working. And it's a matter of troubleshooting, thinking out what's going on. And we're at this point have something that's actually physically working. So I'm happy. Hooray. Hooray! We got something that works. Yeah, we have a lot of junk files now for tests. A lot of files don't even get what the point of them is, like an H1, H2, PRS. I don't even know. But there we are. We got something that works. Whoop-de-frickadoo. We could totally get out of here and excuse ourselves and pretend like we're not doing anything anymore. Yeah, we could say this is like the end of it, and congratulations, we have finished this up. But, yeah, this is pretty dull, honestly. So what we're actually going to do is go back into it. And we're going to continue along with our Eden. This is going to work around totally amazing. Penny for your thoughts. A penny for your soul. A penny dirtbag. What I want to know is, why is a small thread cost a penny? Okay. That won't help. Okay, there we are. Look at that. Oh, close you out again because that's totally useless to me. Zoom in, so we got a nice little handsome views. And there we are. There's my freaking 3D object that makes that blurry square thing. So as you see, that's like the default texture of this thing. Alright, so there we are. There's your thread level. You wanted thread? I made a thread level. One of the worst thread levels in existence, but it's a thread level regardless. Yeah, I did it. I said I did it. Congratulations. Okay, so now we're going to try and make some structures, because this is pretty dull. So let's add some structures to the room, and add a few new textures. Okay. It was assumed that your left thread running while Quake was up, but we didn't, so we had to like load it back up. And I did. And select the cube button again. Alright, so we're going to be making another cube of some sort. But this is probably going to be like a solid cube or something like that. Like some detail into this world. Melody bush, the monkey faces a weasel. But it wasn't all in fun, because the monkey had to die. So you see, this is like the 3D view inside it, in case you're curious. Okay, how on earth do you, like... Why are all my options grayed out now? Why are all my options, like, grayed out? People, look at this. All my options are grayed out. You see, I think we've just found out another thing about THRED that's absolutely freaking amazing. Once you have already saved a level, you can't edit the level anymore. Yeah. This is terrible. This is terrible, people, because that means we have to recreate the entire freaking thing from scratch. This is now useless to us. Yep. Yep, this is totally useless. I know we just showed it off, and we were having fun, and we were getting somewhere, but yep, you have to make it all in one session. You realize the problem with that? Yeah, no wonder people made basic maps, because you have to make it all in one freaking session. Why in God's name is that a feature? I mean, I thought you fixed the save issue. That doesn't seem to fix it, people. Well, let's do this all over again. Because that's what we're best at. We're best at, like, basically at this point doing a drone-based thing and doing the same thing over and over and over. Merrily bush, the monkey chased the weasel. Up goes the weasel. All this to get a basic room. And now to edit the basic freaking room. Yeah. We're getting nearly on 2 hours, so all we've done is make a basic room. In any other editor, this would be a short amount of time. But in THRED, because of all this craziness that's been going on, yeah. Now we want to get our cube back, which is a Q button. We want to do this. We want to do 512. I know this is the 4th time I've done this. 2024 by 256. This is why you never use betas, people, by the way. Because otherwise you end up dealing with stuff like this. That kind of didn't really help the situation any. Me trying to use the Aftershock beta version of THRED. That's like extra unnecessary torture plus everything else I'm doing. Because this is heavily unstable. Okay, well there we are. We got our little thing. Then we add this to the world. Hooray! And now we just need to add my entity back. So let's see here. That. Get this player start. Get this going. There's that. Close that. Have that in the middle. Wait, why does this like look too small? Okay. Zoom in all like modes. The melody bush. Okay, so now we can actually create a freaking texture. Okay, we can do this. Okay, we're back at the cube thing. Okay, 16 for all 4 values. So we're going to have like a very symmetrical 16 base thing. So it's not even a full cube or so. It's actually like 1/4 of a cube. And for the Y value, we want about 300. Well, that's totally breaking conventions. I don't even know why it's 300, but okay, apparently he likes the movie 300. Yeah, we also want solid this time around because it's a detail in the world. So we basically are making solid objects that go through our hollow area, and we basically want it just bigger than that. It doesn't even matter how big it is as long as it fits inside our entire world. That really is what it comes down to. As you can see, that's exactly what happened. We now have a giant freaking block in the middle of our world that goes higher and lower than it, but we don't even care about that because it just matters where it solidifies inside the world. Anything outside the world, of course, doesn't matter. So let's see here. Let's see here. So yeah, now we have our brush in the middle of the world here. And now we're going to try and change our texture using that texture browser thing I showed you before. So we pull up this. Here's our texture freaking browser. Yeah. Look at this. All these different textures. Yay. Yep. See a bunch of textures. Click the one you want and it will apply it to the brush. All around the melody bush. Okay, so what texture do we freaking want on this freaking texture? Who knows? I guess this. Okay. I believe I did it. I don't even know. Okay, so I just did it. I don't even know if I did anything. I feel great. Oh, wait. I need to keep this up but minimize it. Oh. So I need to do this and minimize it. And now we'll apply it to it. But now we need to see what textures apply to the brush. Which means we need to see the brush attributes button. Which is somewhere on here. It's the 7th button or so. So the attributes dialog. Yep. Green brush or a wrench over it. Attributes dialog. So there we are. And you can see we have metalettes applied to it, which is the texture I guess we want. Okay, yay. That's how you can see what textures are in here and know what the textures' names are. Amazing, right? So yeah, there we are, some freaking textures. Name of the brush is the name of the texture you are applying that will be applied to it. When you select that texture from the texture dialog, you would change in the name of the brush to match the texture that you wanted. Okay. So, is this good? Should I apply it? Okay, what we have right now is a vertical pole that is in the room. If you switch to move rotate mode, second button from the left on the bottom toolbar, which is this one. This is like one of the other modes. And if you use the middle button, you switch back to this. As you see, this is how you switch between your modes. So there we are. Now, yep, that's mouse 3 I'm talking about, by the way. So So you basically click your move thing, and you can move the brush around with the left mouse button now. Hooray! So let's see here. Play around with this and add a few brushes to the world. I recommend that you move them in top view window because that will keep you from accidentally moving them above or below the room. Don't forget that it's easy to add several brushes of the same kind in a row just by clicking the add brush button, then move into a new location and repeating. Okay. Pop goes the weasel. What if we like put this shit like out here? Okay. Oh yeah, this looks promising. I can't even like have a like nice grid snap. Well, actually, that's just because snap is off. But okay. Okay, Jenny. For once, I won't have a gripe about you. Okay, so there we are. Yay. You should be aware that THRED is quite capable of creating objects that are too complex for Quake to handle. Oh. Well, that stinks. An example of this is a spear with too many stripes. It works just fine in THRED, but will fail in QBSP. Be careful of this. So yeah, THRED is actually more complex than Quake is. And so therefore we can create a bunch of objects in THRED that we can't create in Quake, and thus will not even work in Quake. That's brilliant, right? Okay, once you've done this, we'll look around in the solid render view. You should be able to see the poles that you just added to your room. Chase the weasel. Or we could just save this as another thread. Test. And we should also export to Quake. Test. And we'll leave this up this time. Now I'll pull up my CMD. And now we'll do CD. Slash. Switch my A drive. And then. Oops. CD. There we are. Now we're here. TBSP test. There we are. Chase. See, I'm learning, people. I'm learning how to do this. I'm learning. And with this, we'll actually be able to get something. Amazing, right? Yeah, we're learning how to make a Quake level, finally. Okay, and so now I actually made a Quake level. I don't know why I hide my display camera when I go and just drag the file, but whatever. At this point, it doesn't even matter. Wait, did I move it to the right place? I probably didn't. Brilliant. No, it's here. Aftershock AS maps is right? Yeah, this is the right area to throw it. Test.bsp. What did I do wrong? Look on the bush, the monkey chased the weasel. What did I do wrong, game? It's supposed to be located here. What? Could spawn server maps.test.bsp. It's like it's not recognized that. I don't get this. Is this like a corrupt file or something? I mean, it should be able to do it. Why is it not working? Why is this stupid thing not working? Oh boy! Just when we thought it was actually going to work for us for once, so we weren't going to have to rip our thread. Oh, wait a minute. Is this the right area for us? No, I don't want to be in Quake Mess Aftershock. I want to be in Quake Mess AS Maps. Yeah, I don't want to be in Aftershock. I want to be in AS. Yeah, as terrible as that sounds. That little sub detail messed me up. Okay, so there we are. Now we are ready to actually begin this. Hooray! We got our details in the world. That's how you create details. Look at this. And as you saw, all I did was drag and drop these cubes into the four corners. And it was pretty simple. Here we are. On guard. And that's how you do that. Hooray! We have done the basics of making the Quake level. You know, I really don't like this texture being used as like default texture everywhere. This is gonna drive me nuts. Let's actually go back to THRED and change that as well. So let's pull this up. And if I click, how do you like? No. I said it was easy, and now it's not working for me. How does one click a different texture than the one that you have currently selected? How does one select a texture that's already in the world? How does one select a stupid texture, actually? That's an important thing to know, people. I have no idea how to do that. Well, this is promising. Okay, thank you very much, for showing me all this, Jim Lowell. You know what I'd like? A way to actually be able to select a texture. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I know how to drag around and look around the world, but I don't know how to actually click any of the textures I'm seeing. That's kind of a problem. Yeah, I don't know how to select anything. Well, this is promising. He told us everything about how to select something. Well, okay, let's continue the tutorial. Okay, let's add a few lights to the map now. That'll add quite a bit of depth to the map when we see it in Quake next. To do that, you can add light button. You know, I'd like to actually be able to add textures to this main one here, but you know, he didn't feel that was needed. Yeah, for some reason we never really bothered with it there, but now we do. Add light button. Where's the add light button? It looks like a light bulb is the fourth button from the right on the top toolbar. Place light? Is it place light? Am I looking for place light? I'm scared. I just pressed place light. Okay, that's another entity. Hooray. So I knew light at the world at 0, 0, 0, the same spot the player starts at. I thought that was at 1. That's why it's kind of like minorly offset. Yeah, hooray for inconsistencies! Okay, now click the move entity button. Okay. It's the 8th from the... Oh, it's the 8th from the right on the top toolbar and looks like a yellow dot with a blue arrow pointing away from it. Oh, so you have a move entity as well? How do you like... Where's the move entity button? 8th from the right on the top button bar and looks like a yellow dot with a blue arrow. Oh. I found it! So now we can move this light around. Pop goes the weasel. You know, what I'd like to do is be able to know where exactly in the grid world I am when I'm dragging the object around. That would really be helpful. That's kind of like a big limitation of this, I have to say. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now, where it kind of is relative to the world besides what I see. It's all based on sight and like trying to figure out based on that. I don't know why they're asking for pennies for my needles. Let's see here. Let's see, move it. When you're in this mode, you can move the currently selected entity from the left mouse button, or select a new entity with the right mouse button. New entity? I thought you said I could... Oh! That's promising, people. We have learned how to move entities around. See? That's how you do that. Okay, now, stupid question, but can I do a similar thing with, like... Okay, that's not working out too well for me. I don't know. How do you, like, revert this? Yeah, this ain't working out too well for me at all. Don't try and do anything that isn't being taught to you is the lesson here. If you try and do anything creative, you'll probably be yelled at. Okay, that's a plus. We got something in the world. Now, yeah, there we are. In the top view, move your light around in the room. Don't get too close to the walls or it may fall outside the room. You can see and tweak the entity in any of the 4 windows. Be aware that you need to switch from entity mode to camera mode and back to change your views while performing this process. Oh, so I can't like just drag it around here? I'm confused what he's talking about. Why would I need to like switch back to entity mode again? Is this just like the... What does he mean? Like to just be able to see what I'm doing? He chases the weasel. Okay, so I just figured out how to move the stupid light around. I recommend that you add 5 lights to the room. Place them at random where you think they could cast some interesting shadows. Check the lights in the front and side views to make sure they are inside your room. Move them if they aren't. Okay. Thanks a lot, dude. Totally know what I'm doing now, right? Yeah, let's add some lights. By add some lights, I mean click buttons and hope they do the right things. How does one add a light again? This one? Okay, now I'm getting it. Where? Pop goes the weasel. Okay, so there we are. Look at that. Anyway, I think we're kind of getting about to the end of this. And so now, we get some lights. Hooray! So there we are. Now all we have to do is save this. Save this as test. Boom. Bing. There's the 5 lights. And we'll export this to Quake. Overwrite this. And now we can go back to where my Aftershock main area is. We can take THRED. Okay, boy. This is getting fun, isn't it? Okay, and now all we do is CMD it. Oh boy. Okay, so there we do the CD operations that we've been doing all along. CD, we go to E instead, and then we go to Quake mess. No. We go to CD, Quake mess, Aftershock, THRED, and then we do test.bsp. No, we do something. What do we do? We change it to be QBSP. Wait, what? No. Now save your map. Export the Quake. Go back to DOSBots and type this in. So we do QBSP test. That does that. Then we do Q light test. And there we are. There's our lights. Okay, this new lighter command will add lighting to your map. Now copy it over and start up Quake again. Lights were placed well. You should have a somewhat dark room with areas of light and lots of shadows. Alright. time to just check this thing out. And I think I'm actually going to stop for now, and we'll continue up like a later date. But yeah, this is starting to get like a long video, so I think I'm going to actually finish this up before it gets like too long and YouTube freaks out on me. So we'll pull this up, and we'll quickly check this out. And of course, we'll have to do the whole thing again next time, but at least we'll know what we're doing. Did the lighting work? I'm not sure if the lighting worked. Wait, did I like just keep the old one and not move it to the right area? I'm not sure if I did or didn't. I could swear this is the right file. Let's actually go. God, this is part of the annoying process here, people. Okay, so we take this file. This has the lighting, I think. This has the lighting. And there we are. Now we load this up. Somehow this is lighting based. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, because there's shadows on this side that you can't see, and on this side you can see it. It's just because the fact that we're using a default texture everywhere, you can't really see much of anything. Yeah. Hooray! Well, we got this working somewhat, even though it looks totally terrible because of this. Next time around, I'll switch the texture around here because I don't like this. I want it to actually look somewhat decent. But yeah, that will all be in the second part. The second part of this thread-based tutorial that I'll do at some later date. Anyway, thank you very much all for watching. I know this has been pretty horrible, but yeah, we had to learn how to use THRED. It's been a long time. I'm learning things slowly but surely, and we're getting there. We're making a lot of progress. So all that in mind, thank you very much all for watching. It has been the adventure, and I'll see you next time for part 2, whereby we'll continue along with this complex thing, redo everything, make it better and better designed, and we shall continue along with this lengthy tutorial of how to use a terrible editor from 1996 nobody would dare use today. Until then, see you later.